Okay. Hello, welcome back to Career Naksha Live. This is me, Rakesh Chagani, as a counseling executive here. Today, we have Kavita Panyam with us as a speaker. Talking about her, I'll brief out a small introduction about her. So, Kavita Panyam is a counseling psychologist with 24 years experience in counseling, coaching, and mentoring. She is the founder, director of Mind Suggest Wellness Center at Sikandrabad. Kavita Panyam is India's first codependency recovery coach on a mission to transform 1 million people that seek approval and external validations into becoming self reliant with leadership qualities. Kavita is an international affiliate of Psychological Association, a life member of BCPA, that is Bharatiya Counselling Psychology Association, life member of CCI, that is Council of India, and CCICN, a joint venture of Career Naksha and CCI. She is certified in community mental health for psychologist for NIMHANS, Bangalore. She is also certified career coaching, offering career counseling to students and working professionals. Also, talking about her, she has also featured in Humans of Hyderabad in November 2020 and is the recipient of the prestigious Rex Icon Go Karmavir Chakra Award in 2019. So, this is all about our speaker today, handing it all over to her.
Thank you so much, Rakesh, for the warm introduction. So, I'd like to begin with a small story. All right, we all like stories, right? So, let me begin with the stories. Today's topic is thinking beyond competition. All right, the very word competition gives people so much anxiety, stress, right? So, let us see today in today's session like how we can tackle this subject called competition. All right. So, many years ago, when my younger child was just around 2 years old, during Children's Day, we had a competition in our society wherein children of that age they had to pick up things from a box, like you just pick up this and put it into another box. Pick it up from this box, run and put it in that box. So my child stood first. The other ladies, the mothers, were very unhappy. So they went to the organizers and said, no, no, this is not fair. Our children will feel bad. So everybody should win a prize, which means every child that participated should win a prize. They said, we will give you participation chocolates, but they said, no, we don't want our children to feel bad. So they didn't leave till they gave them also the prizes. I don't know from where they got it in the last minute, but every child was given a prize. And when the mothers came down, I asked them, like, what made you do that? Why would you go and tell the organizers to give a prize to every child? They said, no, no, I don't want my child to lose. I said, lose what? It is just a matter of skill sets, how agile you are, and somebody who's already used to it. It doesn't define your capabilities or your child's capabilities. Imagine at the age of 2 years when mothers are so, you know, closed about their children losing, then what kind of parenting are we doing, at least in India? And then now, as I talk to so many parents, they say that, we don't mind our children failing. We don't mind if our children fail. And I saw a lady posting on Facebook, like, please encourage your children to fail. Just last week, I did this. I went to speak at Osmania University, UGC, HRDC, on failure should pinch. Why should we not normalize failure? Right? So we're going to discuss that also. So if I were to ask you, Rakesh, what is your opinion about all the mothers going and asking the organizers to give every child a prize and not a gift?
Maybe they don't want the child to be feel left out.
Yeah,
So
right. But then if we don't teach our children that there are people who are little bit better in that particular area, then you will never understand. You'll think you're the best. The people who say Mera Raja Beta or my child is the best, and they raise such children when they go out to the college or school and they say people who are way better than them in certain skill sets or language or whatever, right? So there is this word called competition. It just depends on how you perceive it. It is not a dangerous word. It is not a bad word. It is just a word. It is a feeling. It creates that emotion within us which we need to handle appropriately. All right. I would also like to ask the audience how they feel about this story. Put it in the comment section. We would like this to be an interactive session. All right. Now, my second topic for today's session would be when people come to me, students, I ask them, why do you go to school and college? Do you go because your parents are paying the fees, or do you go because you want to study? And 80% of them look here and there and say, ma'am, because they pay the fees. Okay, so that is something which we need to ponder about. Why is it that it is like a duty to go to school and college, duty to go to the office because you got to provide to the family? It is a duty that we are doing in, like, people who get up and cook, all the women who cook, all the men who cook, look after. So everything is duty. I do not know how much pleasure they get out of it. So when you think of doing this activity for yourself, it does not appear to be cumbersome. You are not competing with yesterday you made 5 dishes, today you made only one dish, or yesterday you topped, today you came third. It is not about, competing on that scale. It is about what is your thought. The moment you think that I can do it, that bandwidth will expand and you can do it. It is only when you think that I can't or I'm not up to it that you don't get that mood or the drive to excel. All right. So you need to go to school, college, office, or you cook, or whatever you do, any activity that you do, because you're doing it for yourself and not for other people. I would like everyone here to take the responsibility on your own. All right. So so it is like, you go to kindergarten, then you go to grade 1, 2, 3, 4, you finish your college engineering, and then they say, okay, get married. So everything follows the other thing. Right from kindergarten to the marriage, it is all step by step. Somebody else thinks for you and you do it. So, do people have any choices at all during this stage from kindergarten till the time you get married and have children and they go to school up till the end of life? Let's take it till the end of life. How much choices do we actually have? Do we have any say at all in the way we are living our life? Is what I ask the people who come approach me or any event that I go to as a speaker. So if I ask you, Rakesh, how many do you feel you have a choice in how you're living your life?
Uh, Not much, but I do have choices. Sometimes I feel.
Interesting. So why do you say not much? Would you rather
Not
somebody else lead your path, or would you like to lead torch? अपने हाथ में पकड़ के, would you like to lead your own on your own?
Earlier, it was like I need a torch to this, like to show the path. But
Mm-hmm.
currently now I am forming my own choices and going
Mm-hmm.
with the flow of my own choices.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes.
So how do you feel now that you're doing
Uh,
things on your own? How do you feel?
I feel confident. I feel happy about it that I am able to make my choices, and like somewhere I am feeling satisfied.
So you have become accountable and responsible, and that's a good thing, right? That's very
Yes.
nice. Awesome. So, in most homes, people don't understand the meaning of choices. The choice is not this or that, it is between this and that. You got to go to school, you got to go to college, you go to office, you go to the kitchen, and then what you do over there, that is important. It is not like should I do it or not. Do it, and how? Why should you do it? For how long? It's about the bandwidth. Choice is not whether you should do it or not. Choice is do it, but how? How would you do it? Those are the choices that you have, right? There are a lot of people who are, forced into sciences, engineering, medicine in India, especially because those are the careers where you can earn, get a good name. But after the pandemic, all that is changing. Now everybody wants to be a psychologist, right? Everybody wants to be a psychologist. This field is booming right now. All right, so now let's talk about parenting. So, in most Indian homes, we look at criticism and correction. We do not see compassion and correction. It is like you take the report card in this shaking manner, like, and you give it to your parents, and they're like, some parents are like, okay, how much did they get? So and so get, and you say Rahul got so much and Shanti got names changed, got so much, and they're like, okay, you can do better. Or some parents are like, wow, you got 70, you got 60, you got 40, or whatever, let's celebrate, because it is about that particular effort. It doesn't define your future. It doesn't get your past over here. It is just about that particular outcome. It's about just that particular outcome. But here we have a lot of criticism, comparison, parents with unfulfilled dreams putting it on their children. They want to fit their children into a bracket. See so and so's son, see in this so and so's daughter, look at them, look at your brother, look at your sister. So that is not very helpful, because children, or anybody for that matter, they go into a defensive mode. That is when you begin to feel little low. You can get sad, low drive, depression, anger, and anxiety can travel with you because of these environmental problems faced by many children and people all over the world, right? So now let us talk about another example. Many parents tell their children what to do, but they don't show them how to do it. Let me give you an example what I mean by saying this. So you want to tell your child to go to the shop and buy a packet of milk. So you'll give the child the money, and you're going to tell the child to use a cycle to look left and right, cross the road, go to the shop and market or whatever way you've sent him, check the change, ask the sales girl or somebody for where the counter is, so tell them to get a packet of milk, the brand that you want, check for the expiry date, pay the thing, count the change, put it carefully so that dogs don't get it from you if you're on a cycle, obviously. Get it back carefully, crossing the road. And this is how you teach your child how to do it. But upon interviewing so many people globally, I feel that international, not just in India, they just tell you what to do, but they don't tell you how to do it. If they say how to do it, it's about how they have done it. They are not upgrading with the times, which are not like before. So that parenting which worked earlier during my time will not work now. We have to upgrade ourselves and update according to the Generation Z is entirely different compared to what it was early, right? So we need to show people what to do and how to do it, and we need compassion and correction, not criticism and correction, because it doesn't work. Children need to know what how they can, you know in what way they can do it, and not that you did a wrong thing. So आपने ये गलत कर दिया and they feel dejected. You can tell them, do it this way, do it that way. Brainstorm together. Then there will be very few psychological issues in mankind if you work together and not against each other. Right? So Rakesh, my next question to you is, are you indecisive or can you decide things quickly? How long do you take to decide?
I have practiced a lot. I was
Mm-hmm.
indecisive. Now I'm somewhat decisive.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually decisive in most of the matters. I become indecisive when it was related to my
Mm-hmm.
career, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now, in other aspects, I'm quite decisive.
So, would you like to know why people are indecisive, especially students? Interesting,
Definitely.
right?
That's
All right.
interesting. Yeah.
So people who are not able to decide are people who have not been given that freedom to choose when they were small. Parents decide which color, where will you go, what will you do, what time you'll go, what you'll come back, what will you eat, what time you'll sleep, which show you're going to watch. Okay, everything is taken care of by the parent, because they say, I know what is better for you. I know what is better for you. And they say, trust me, because I lived so and so, so I know more than you. But when children are not given that opportunity to decide whether I want to wear yellow or orange or gray or blue, or to choose which film to watch, or some little things, which brand of what to buy, little things, then they will always look for external validations. Somebody else will tell me what is good for me because I don't know. People who say I don't know are people who do not know themselves in and out. Do you know yourself in and out, Rakesh? Completely,
Uh,
100%.
Not 100%. No.
Then that's a task for you, because unless we know ourselves 100%, we are at the risk of getting manipulated by others or buying somebody else's story and fitting it into our jigsaw puzzle, which only we need to fit, right?
Yeah.
So, parents need to allow their children to make small choices and decisions so that they understand how choices and decisions are made, teach them what factors go into it, what parameters go into it, okay? So that it is not a competition as to somebody else can decide faster and you can't. Competition in academics, competition in how you keep your things, how you speak, how you carry yourself, how you portray, all of these things are because they have not been given those inputs very early on in their lives. They always depend on somebody else to come and tell me how to live my life, right? So when children have been given that guidance as to make small choices and decisions, then they are already used to it. You are allowed to make mistakes. It is not called a failure. What is a failure according to you, Rakesh? What is a failure?
Failure, according to me, um, basically failing at some particular task that can
Mm-hmm.
lead to disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what failure is, according to me.
All right. So, do you know how I perceive failure? For me, failure is like a different outcome for that particular task. I wanted this probably and I got something else. So I don't see it as a failure. I don't, there is no word called failure in my dictionary. I erased that long ago. So I call it a different outcome. Maybe you wanted this, you got something else. It means you need to change gears, okay? Change your source of information, get a different transformation, get going and get the desired results. Try again. It is only a different outcome. Does that sound so hard? No,
Not
right?
really. Yeah.
So when at home, if you try to make a particular dish or try to do something and you haven't reached somebody else's grading or your own grading, if you're a perfectionist, you will keep on raising the bar every time you achieve it. You'll raise the bar and keep on working and causing burnout, the boom bust cycle as we call it. So failure is a different outcome. Don't have to get dejected. Change tracks, get a different source of information, find mentors, find a good coach in your subject or whichever part of life you're in, wherever you think you got a different outcome, and try again. Keep trying again. So what happens when you keep trying? You keep trying, and you keep getting a different outcome along the same lines. What happens then? Should you give up? What should you do? Or keep trying?
Keep trying up to a certain extent, and you should know
Hmm.
when to stop.
And what if people are not able to? I have people from NEET and JE and all coming to me saying that they can't get off that race of cracking those exams.
Maybe we should be, like we should keep a check what we are capable of. If it is not in our capacity, sometimes it's not always that we are capable to cope with that and surpass that particular thing. It
Hmm.
is, we should be aware of our capabilities. If it is not in our hand, we should just let it go off and look for other options.
So how do you let it go? Good answer, Rakesh. So how do you let go of it?
How do I let it go?
Yeah,
Definitely, letting go of is not that easy.
it
Uh, it
is. It is
is
very easy. I'm just going to tell you right that. So don't you want to
okay.
know what it is? How do you let go of a different outcome or failure in layman language? You have to convert frustration into futility. So
Okay.
when you get frustrated, angry, irritable, upset, you tend to carry the emotion of sadness, anger, anxiety, depression. So you should learn to say this is it and convert the frustration of not getting by into futility. You got to tell yourself that I tried, okay, I did my best. Maybe I am meant to do something else. And then when you look at some other option, okay, after you put it to futility, No, I won't say ki have plan A and B for everything from the beginning. That's not what I'm saying. After you've tried a number of times, it is not happening. Then you convert frustration into futility. Okay. And then get a plan B, C, or whatever, convert it into futility कि अब यहाँ पे अब कुछ होगा नहीं, and then go on to the next one. Logically tell yourself, talk to yourself, not in public. अकेले में करना है. You can't go around talking to yourself, obviously people won't understand, but you can talk to yourself and train your brain to convert the frustration into futility, and it will no longer make you feel guilty, bad, sad that you couldn't do it. It won't, you can't ruminate on it saying, oh my god, I failed, I couldn't do it, I'm unworthy, and all of those things. All right. Okay. Now I have a question from somebody who said that what about students that cheat and get good marks? Okay. And teachers like students who get good marks. So have you ever faced that? I know I have during my schooling and college, but have you also faced it?
Not really.
But it happened during the pandemic because of online schooling. There were people who cheated and they got similar marks like hardworking students, and many parents and children were unhappy about it. So I get asked this question like, what do we do about people who cheat and they get ahead and teachers like them because of their marks? How should we handle that? So, first of all, we have no control over other people. You can't compete with people whose values and beliefs are different from yours. If my aim is to get 40 out of 40, I will try to get it via my own merit. But if my belief system is like I can should do anything to get it, copy, do something, or go and muscafy the teacher, like, ma'am, please, or whatever you call it. People do different things, right? There are all different types of people. Then that means that your belief system and values differ. There is no competition over there at all. There is no competition. People who cheat and get the marks, and you who are going the right way or the way that is matching your belief system and values. There's no need to feel bad, because eventually when you go out into the world, it is your education and your life experiences which will make you competent, not just your education, right? Education and life experiences are important to make you competent in any field. So my suggestion to the parents or anybody watching this would be like, don't feel bad if your child says that somebody copied and they got. It's not only about marks, it's also about your efforts, your mindset, how you look at an exam. It is not just about marks, it is about your attitude. It is about their entire planning, studying, and doing it in a way which you feel that you have achieved something. And that again differs from family to family and person to person. As for teachers coming and saying that I like so and so, it is much more than marks. Teachers like students who are interactive, who take part in activities, who are a little more, enthusiastic in the classroom, and who do their odd jobs like chalk rak do, book rak do, and ma'am, and enthusiastic. They like such people. Even if you are a backbencher and you're like this, they'll still like you. It is not about marks. So even if you get 20 out of 100, but you're very active in sports or dance or some other activities, they will still like you. It is not only about marks, it's about your entire personality. So don't think that it's only the marks that, okay, sorry. Yeah, it's only about marks. It's not about, it's a complete personality. So train your child the right way so that all kinds of attributes come into the personality. We're talking about the functional things. Okay, it's about your hobbies, your interests, apart from your academics. All right. So going forward, we will now talk about how do you look at competition. Okay. So Rakesh, what is your definition of competition?
Competition, I would say, is participation is more important. Winning or
Mhm.
losing is a part of it. That's what my view is about competition.
All right. So well put. Competition, according to me, is learning, unlearning, and relearning. So if I look at somebody who is in my field or any field, successful people who are doing well, I try to see what can I learn from them, what can I unlearn, and what can I relearn. So I never have any rival at all in any field. I don't look at anybody as a rival. I just see what can I learn from them, what can I unlearn, and what can I relearn. When you train your children that way, if somebody is doing better than you academically, see in what way you can learn from that person. Try to see what kind of books they're reading, what kind of coaching they're going to. Try to see if you can also do that for your child. So it is always about learning, unlearning, and relearning. So some attributes you do not like, then you know that this is not what I want. So you can change that in you. Somebody is very crass, loud or outspoken. You don't want that in your personality. So then you say, okay, okay, I'm like this, so let me change that. So it's all about learning, unlearning, and relearning. Success should go to your heart and not to your head. Because when success goes to your heart, you earn well wishers. But when it goes to your head, you invite unhealthy competition. You invite rivals. You invite people who haters, people who don't like what you're doing. They might report your video or do something or create some problems or hurdles because obviously you are emitting that kind of energy. Like I am the best, I know everything. I don't think anybody is the best or they can know everything. It is learning is a constant thing, right? It's a continuous journey. So at any point of time, you can't say that I know everything now. That's not how it happens. We have to be humble when we are learning and sharing. So, competition is not a bad word, it's not a negative word. People watching, do not get scared. Do not teach your children that competition is about marks or winning a prize or getting somewhere in life. It is all about what can you learn from the incident or the person, what can you unlearn, and what can you relearn. That's what it is all about. All right. So my next question to Rakesh, today's subject would be define what is normal. What do you think is normal? You have to unmute Rakesh.
Sorry. Normal, I would like to say it like normal is being able to handle things, coping things in normal life very easily, like
Mm-hmm.
maintaining relations on a good pace,
Mm-hmm.
being capable enough to deal with the situations around and not just panic about it. That's normal for me.
That was a very long definition. Should I give you a much shorter and easier one? Are you up for
That
it?
would be great. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. So what I have gathered is normal is something which is familiar. So
Yeah.
if I'm used to having, lime, warm water and honey in the morning, that is normal for me. But if you are used to having hot chai, then that is normal for you. Normal is that which is familiar, which is doable, and which matches your belief system and values.
Correct.
Simple, right?
Yeah.
So before now, we don't wear. I wear a mask, but many people don't wear mask because now it is no longer mandatory. But in 2020, we had that phone which was full of Amitabh Bachchan or somebody speaking like, ye kijiye, sanitize kijiye, and all of those things. People were so scared to step out. That was the normal then. But now the normal is different. So normal keeps changing. It keeps evolving. Normal is never stagnant, right? So normal is what is familiar, what is doable, and what is in sync with your values and beliefs. If I go to the temple every evening and somebody else goes to the bar every evening, then those are my values and beliefs, their values and beliefs, and what is familiar and doable. So it is something which is just familiar, doable, in sync with your values and beliefs. It is not about what is doable, what is okay. It is not the same for everybody. So don't compete with what is your normal with somebody else's normal. If somebody gets up at 2 o'clock and is putting 20 hours of studies every day, if you can't do it right now, then that is not your normal. Build it gradually. 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. Don't try to do it at one go. So you cannot compete with somebody else's normal. Every family should understand this. If people have green salad and all that, that's the only thing they have. And if you're used to having dal makhani and those kulche and all, then that is their normal. And suddenly you can't overnight, I don't want that kulche. Let me have the green salad. We've got to do it gradually. So don't compete with somebody else's normal, because everybody's story, everybody's background, and everybody's normal is different. There is no competition with that. Keep your life simple is what I believe. All right. Now, now we're going to talk about authentic self and the ideal self. So, what according to you is an authentic self, Rakesh? The real self, as we call it.
The real self, you mean to
Mhm.
say authentic self? I have not thought about this. I would like to hear it from you actually. What authentic self means actually.
All right. So there is a milk tooth which erupts during babyhood and it falls off, and then you've got the permanent tooth which comes in, right? We all know this.
Yeah,
Similarly, ideal self is what a parent, society, teachers, neighbors, and all inculcate in us. Like smile all the time, be strong all the time, get good marks all the time, respect everybody, help everybody, give your last bottle of water even if if you are thirsty. All right. So all of these do's and don'ts which make you an ideal person. You do all of these things, then people will like you. Then you're a good child or a good whatever, good husband, wife, or good teacher or whatever. This is the ideal self, right? But there are no ideal conditions in the world. There are no ideal conditions. There is nothing called perfectionism, because anything can be improved if you have the resources, time, and the interest, right?
yeah,
So if I give you a document and say, Rakesh, edit it, and I'm giving you just 2 days,
yeah.
so you might start it whenever you want to, depending upon your cycle, whatever you're used to. And if you
Correct.
turn it into me, had I given you 1 week, you could have probably put more effort in it. Outcome would have been different. Or if you
True.
give 1 year, it depends on the interest, resources, and the whether you really want to do it. There is no perfectionism.
Correct.
Availability, resources, and the interest to keep on improving, improving, improve. There's no end to that till you say that's it. Right. So authentic self is something which is about you, your real self. Whether you want to be kind all the time, whether you want to be strong all the time, whether you want to be smiling all the time, whether you want to respect people because of their age, even if they're narcissists, it depends, all right? Or whether you want to be over generous with your resources, money, time, whatever you have been taught in your childhood, all that comes under the ideal self. The authentic self is you will decide how much should I help, how much of my time will I give, how much resources, to what degree will I help. You work with boundaries, boundaries. So you know yourself in and out. You will decide whether to overcome it or to do it only according to your ability, interests, and the choices. So it is your authentic self, what you like, what you don't like, what works for you, what doesn't work for you. So then when people get close to you, you will not worry about them coming to know about you. Okay, they will come to know about me. That it's a fake self, false self that you have been carrying. घर आके people are crying and bahar, no, no, I don't have any problem, I'm absolutely fine, I'm doing great, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have a dual life. You are what you are in the market, at home, in the office, in the temple. You're just the same person. And it takes a this thing should happen between 13 to 19 years, wherein people should move from the ideal self to the authentic self. So what are the benefits of operating out of the authentic self? One, you become resilient. No matter how many times you have a different outcome or failure, as they call it, no matter how many times you stumble, your internal motivation will put you back on track numerous times. So, external motivation will be 20%, internal motivation would be 80%, because you are internally validated. That is why it is important to operate from the authentic self. Second is you are attuned to yourself. There are people who feel a little bored and they go and open the fridge, reach for the ice cream or fries, and they go and they don't know what they want. Maybe you're bored, you need to go for a walk or have a fruit or drink a glass of water, or watch a comedy clip. It may not be that you're hungry. So boredom does not mean that you're hungry. So you need to know what does your body want, what is your mind saying. You need to read yourself in and out. If somebody a threat to you, or it is so that you don't want to accept they're a little better in that area. So when does a challenge become a threat? When you don't have the resources, right?
Yeah.
So for example, you are hungry, you will think of the options. Swiggy, should I Swiggy it? Or should I ask somebody to cook? Okay. Should I have a fruit or should I drink a glass of water? Should I just go to bed? Right? These
Right.
options come from the subconscious mind because they are already something which you have been doing all through. The seventh option of let me go and cook is a new option which you have not been doing with laziness or you don't know how to cook or whatever. But that will come when you know yourself in and out, that you have been avoiding going to the kitchen. So when you're authentic, you don't lie to yourself. You don't look at challenges as unhealthy competition and comparison. You're willing to learn from people because there is no ego involved over there.
Correct.
You can go and ask people like, excuse me, you're good in this. Can you give me some tips? Some people say, no, no, I can't go and ask. They will think they're better than me, so I can't go and ask. I said, where is the question of comparing? They are better in that area. Go and take their mentoring. Request them, isn't it? So it is all your perception, what you how you look at competition and failure. And you are more productive when you operate from the authentic self because you are not deceiving yourself with the false self that you have. That I'm strong 24 hours. Parents are hell bent on making their children strong. Okay, most children are emotionally fending for themselves with zero support from their families, whether it is academically or their personal life. Especially teenagers are not receiving that emotional support from their, you know, parents. Now they call terrible twos, terrible threes, and terrible teenage. I don't know why they say that. I think the very uh, people who are pretty cool. Teenagers are pretty cool, and I interact with a lot of them, and they're very fun to be with. And provided you understand their mindset, I don't see them as a threat. I've got a teen at home too, so I don't see them as a threat. So it all depends on your perception. Okay. And then I also got this question: what about haters? What about people who don't like if you're successful? What about people who compete with you when you don't want to compete with them? You obviously, it could be that, right? If I don't want to compete with you, but if you are
Yes.
competing with me silently, then how do I handle that? Well, the answer to that is we have no control over other people. You can't control the mob. The mob is irrational. The mob is very clannish and highly emotional. So if you're trying to control the media, somebody else, your neighbor or all, it is just going to be in vain or futile. Just look at your journey, be authentic in your life, and look at only where you are going. Because the moment you look at the neighbor's garden, your garden will dry up. Okay, so think about the food on your table and your garden, and pay more attention to that. As for haters, well, we can't do anything about that because we have no control over other people. And teach your children not to, or anybody in your family, not to focus too much upon people who don't like you. Be happy with the people who like you. That's more important. The other sense, I would say that enjoy with the people who have come to your party, and don't feel bad about those who did not attend your party.
Right.
Right? Enjoy with the people who have come, and don't look at the six people who didn't make it. Don't spend the evening thinking, oh, they didn't come. Right? So that's one thing. The other thing is, have you heard about being at a higher level, whether in the class or in the company, wherever you are, and then being lonely, the lonely boss syndrome, or the topper syndrome, where people are, they look at you, oh, he's a topper or she's a topper, and they think that we have heirs and we may not have heirs, but they have assigned that to the topper, like they have both nakhre hain and they are very proud because of their marks, but you may not be that way, right?
Yeah.
So if anybody over here is a topper, I was a topper too, and people thought that I was a snob because I believe I'm the intellectual types. I like to read and learn instead of just hanging out with people and gossip. So people do presume the people who are the intellectual types are actually snobs, but it may not be true. So anybody, if children or anybody going through that, I would just say that build your lifeline, your hobbies, your interests, okay, and learn new skills. And and whether you sing, whatever it is, whatever you do, singing, cooking, pottery, dancing, जो भी है, build your lifeline so that be alone and fulfilled and not lonely and miserable wherever you are in your life. Be alone and fulfilled and not lonely and miserable if you're at the top, or wherever you are, more so at the top, because people, they tend to ostracize you or look at you with those big eyes like they're the toppers, they're the boss, or you're the CEO or whatever. Right?
Right.
All right. So the other thing which I would like to say is that we have to take responsibility of our lives into our hands. You cannot be half and half in and out of your life. There's no half and half. You have to be 100% present in your life. You can't go to school and say, okay, I've joined this, mummy daddy will take care of it. That's not going, they can only pay the fees and motivate you or scold you or whatever. You have to be accountable, do your tasks on time, deliver on time, and do your best according to what is normal for you, not for your parent, society, or for anybody. What is your normal, you should know what is your bandwidth, what is your best, and do only till there. Don't compete that internal competition with yourself. It leads to self hate also. A lot of people come to me and say, I hate myself because I am not able to deliver. I can't, I can't, when I promise, I can't deliver. They say that. So look whether you have overcommitted because you can't say no. So can you say no, Rakesh, or do you find it difficult to say no?
No, I'm good at saying no. I know the restrictions when to say no.
Oh, is it something new, or were you always like that?
No, no, I have been like this.
That's nice. But a lot of people find it difficult to say no because they don't want to offend the other person. So they end up writing the notes or doing somebody else's job in the office, okay?
Yes.
Or telling them their trade secrets or whatever, just because they're scared that, they might offend them. But
Right.
that is because of competition. People might just come up to you and overpower you and get things out of you. If that is happening with you, you should build your boundaries and you should know when to say no. It is very important to stand up for yourself. When you don't stand up for yourself, you stand a chance of being manipulated, taken for granted, and over committing to things like bringing the work home and all because you couldn't say no, and not even getting paid for it or getting any extra marks for it. Right? So take be responsible for your life, be accountable, so that you don't miss out the bus of life. You actually are sitting in the bus, and people get off early, some people get off late. That's a part of life, but be accountable, be responsible, have a routine, have discipline, and work towards your goals. Okay, so even the online education, it saw mixed results. What do you say, Rakesh? Some people did very well, some
Yeah.
people didn't do well, they got into depression.
Online. You're talking about online studies, kind of.
Education, yes, we saw that now, right, from 2019,
Yes.
2020 onwards.
I don't find it much effective, to be very honest. I have worked as a teacher, so I
Mm-hmm.
know how students get fidgeted when they are sitting in front of screens. They
Mm-hmm.
cannot sit for long hours in front of screens, and where they know the control is not when not in a person. Like like in person, the control is not there. It is just online. It can be just informed to the parents over the call, and
Mm-hmm.
parents also were helpless during that particular time. So yeah, online results are mixed. It depends more of like student के ऊपर रहता है ज़्यादा. I feel if he or she is committed to it, then it's fine. Otherwise, it's not much effective.
सी ये भी माइंडसेट की ये बात है कि पढ़ाई सिर्फ क्लासरूम में ही हो सकती है.
Yeah,
ये वेबिनार का जमाना है, हम भी वेबिनार ही कर रहे हैं, राइट? ये
correct.
वेबिनार का जमाना है. From anywhere to anywhere in the world, you can be connected and learn so much, right? So
Yeah,
in the online, it was basically an act, because बच्चे तो they are hooked on to the gadgets even otherwise.
true that.
Why only in academics did parents complain of eyesight, parents complaining my child is not able to understand? Some parents were very upset with it. Why? It's all a matter of attitude. The child is any case on Instagram, and child is watching movies and series and playing those games and everything. So why did they single out online education? Again, it's matter family to family. What you think education सिर्फ classroom में ही हो सकता है, in person हो सकता है. Like for example, I have clients who come to me for sessions in my office where I'm sitting right now, and many people online via Zoom, and I have the same success rate.
That's what I'm saying. It's more about
Hmm.
like commitment. If the
Absolutely.
child is committed, then yeah, it is well he can study on him by himself or herself also.
It is
But
just
it
a
is
thought that yeah,
yes,
ऐसे भी हो सकता है,
correct,
ऐसे भी we can learn.
true.
Again, it is about being accountable and taking responsibility that I'm going to school for myself. And the new normal, adapting to the new normal, people
Correct.
don't find it difficult to adapt as things change, you know. You change the school, some people have a tough time. You change the house, you have a tough time, right? So we
Yes.
should be able to adapt to the new normal as and when it happens. So that requires mental preparation. The most important part of today's event is mental preparation for unforeseen things, for sudden things, for good things, for unfortunate things. You need to prepare yourself mentally. How am I going to cope? Have healthy coping mechanisms. Build your resources
Yeah.
so that when such things happen, you're not taken, you know, by a surprise or a shock, and you don't go spiraling down into psychological issues. It's all about mental preparation. I think every family should prepare and teach their family members about how to prepare mentally, because this pandemic, what we saw, is something I don't think people in the earlier generation, our immediate generation, I don't think even they would have expected something like a pandemic happening, right? During our, and the only CBSE board which didn't write 10th grade is now writing 12th. In the history of CBSE, there was only one batch we did not write 10th, and they are now writing 12th for the first time. And many of them are in tension because they didn't do the 10th board. They've just given grace marks and aggregates, and they went to the 11th in CBSE.
Correct.
So again, it would be mental preparation, because if you didn't do the 10th, it's okay if you're doing the 11th, right? It's all about, so what should we normalize and what should we not normalize? You should normalize discomfort. Why? Because there is no change without discomfort,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Any change will happen with discomfort. अगर आप 7 बजे उठते हैं, आपको 2 बजे उठना है, तो डिस्कम्फर्ट होगा स्टार्टिंग में. पहले अनबेरेबल होगा, फिर अनकंफर्टेबल होगा, then you're going to become unstoppable. Willingly you get up at that time. Unbearable, uncomfortable, and unstoppable. It's just a matter of getting used to it. So you should normalize discomfort when you're looking for change. Don't look at discomfort as a pain, as a problem, or why should I do it, and try avoiding that discomfort. There is no change, there is no problem free life. It's just not there. You cannot say tomorrow when this will be okay, then I'm going to do that. Nobody knows what tomorrow will bring. It is only today that we have. I'm not saying go to H&M and buy, you know, use all your bank balance to buy. I'm not saying that. But what I'm trying to say is that, you know, try to normalize discomfort so that people who are attempting things for the first time do not get discouraged by the difficulty. That is very important. Any field, any field. Don't normalize failure. Don't encourage your children to fail because you're scared they're going to do something wrong or they'll get depressed. Tell them it's okay to make mistakes. It is a different outcome, right? It doesn't mean that you're failed for life or you can't do anything. It does not define who you are. It is that particular task which saw a different outcome. Normalize discomfort, not failure. Failure should pinch, not sting, pinch. Why? Because then you will be curious to learn new things, curious to know what went wrong, how can I change it. You know, you're going to want to get better, meet different people, learn from people who are doing better. Change the tuition teachers, change your coaching, change the way you dress, change the way you think.
Correct.
Only then can you come out of that comfort zone. Failure should pinch. Please don't normalize failure because of, like, the first example which I gave, like mothers going and saying everybody should get a prize. If your child does not know how to lose, how can you encourage them to fail? Both are contradictory things, right?
Yeah.
When you don't want them to lose, then how can they fail? That's also wrong. I mean, dysfunctional parenting. Normalize discomfort. The day you master discomfort, your life is made. then you can do anything in this world without cringing or thinking, oh my god, I can't do it. ये ऐसा हो रहा है, ये लग रहा है, वो हो रहा है. That won't be there in your map at all. All right. So now I'm going to be talking about the bonus content is how to set goals, how to create your goals. All right. Let's go on to it quickly. So you need to
Yes.
make long term and short term goals. Under long term goals, make four categories: 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. Because a long term goal is between 1 to 10 years. Under each year, write four goals. So you have 16 goals. All right. Next to each goal, write down each thing that you want, each detail, which color, which company, texture, everything should be down to the last detail. Next to each goal, how do you want it, where do you want to work, which company, how much salary, everything, right? And then write down the reasons why you want that particular goal. In the event of you saying, I don't know, it means it's only a passing fancy and not a real goal. If you say, I want to buy that new Brezza car, okay, new model, and then you can't find any reason because you already have two cars parked in your garage, then probably you don't have a good reason, so it's only a passing fancy. You need to have very good reasons to be motivated to reach those goals. Remember that always. Okay. Then coming to the short term goals, they're between 1 day to 1 year. Between 1 day to 1 year. So Jan to December, make it that way: day, week, and month. Under that, you write those goals. They work as confidence boosters. You start feeling good as you keep achieving those goals, leading to your long term goals. All right. So, unless you have goals, you will not have your discipline and routine in place. You look at people as a threat to you, situations as threat. You will have low drive, low motivation, depression, anxiety, anger, and a feeling of, unworthiness, low self esteem, low self worth. It is all about how you plan things, how you execute. It's all about taking immediate, massive action, isn't it? But not looking at immediate results. You need devotion and patience. Do your thing and wait for the results to come in. It's not like you're going to go in there and get the result at the same time. That's where people lose. People are impatient, right? They're impatient.
Yeah.
So you should look beyond competition, look beyond the marks or the prize or that promotion or as the only determining factors of your successful life. It is much broader than those things that you receive as tokens of appreciation. It is how are you evolving as a human being? How is your personality? Okay. Have you, are you, are you fully, you know, competent with your emotions? Do you know how you're feeling? Are you checking in with your emotions through the day? And there are levels of consciousness. David R. Hawkins has got these levels of consciousness. So you can buy that book from Amazon, and you should keep it around 200 or more. So every time you feel it is below 200, like anger or illness or whatever, do the things that you like, your hobbies, interests, and raise it to 200 or above. Then you will not have so many psychological issues or any nagging issues in your life. So you need to do things that way. Look at life as shades of gray, not black or white. This and that, not this or that. Keep life simple, and don't look at competition as a negative word. Don't look at achievement as fixed things about your grades or anything. Life is much, much bigger than that. It's all about how you turn out in the end, your values, your belief system. So before uh, I hand over the space to Rakesh for any questions, what I can say is that your belief system and values should match. When your belief system says you should do this, but your values come in the way, then you will always have a dilemma of indecisiveness. So your values and belief system should be in sync to be able to carry out that task to fruition. Or you might leave it in between, discontinue, procrastinate, and not do it. So Your values and your belief system should be in sync. And I hope you know what these are. If not, then we'll come back another time to talk about these in detail. Belief system is what you think about yourself, what the world thinks about you, what you think about the world, and what you believe about your future. That's what is belief system. Values are your those little things. There are around 57 values. You can Google it. Okay, accountability and joy, kindness, happiness, honesty, and all of these things. So choose your top three values because your decisions and choices are made from your value system. So you everybody should know what are the top three values because that is where your decisions and your choices are made out of. Okay, so over to you, Rakesh. Any questions?
Yeah, I'd like to ask you one.
Mm-hmm.
There are some situations which make us, very difficult to make a choice.
Mm-hmm.
So at that particular time, how do we cope with that?
Can you give me any instance so that I can narrow it down?
Like for example, I want a
Mm-hmm.
particular thing,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know whether it is useful for me or not in the long run or what how it is. But I am not able to make a decision. Should I go with
What is
it
the
or not?
reason for getting wanting that thing?
um, Reason as in depends, like for example now I want suppose a toy or some gadget or something, basically to play, to enjoy, to
Is it
get
a
the.
need or a want?
That is what it is, more of want currently, suppose. But suppose it is a need, for example, for now I'm doing suppose a particular course,
Mm-hmm.
and there are some needs that I have to fulfill it.
Mm-hmm.
But there are situations and certainties are there that I'm not able to cope with that and then surpass that and complete that goal. Then how do we cope in that particular situation? Suppose we have made a goal and we are not
Hmm.
able to complete it in that restricted time, or and the thing surpasses, and you get into panic attacks and you get anxiety. How do we
Yeah,
deal?
because you are probably looking at perfectionism. Look at progress. Goals
Okay,
are fluid.
okay,
Okay. If you are not reaching, then it's elastic, right? Don't stretch it till it breaks, of course. But your goals should be fluid. Goals even change. Even the destination changes, right?
yep,
Sometimes you know the path's open. No, this is not where I want to go. I'll take a right and not a left.
okay,
Maybe I'll reach after 1 month and not in 1 week. But I'll still put the efforts. I'll still write a different plan of action and I'll still, make my way. Look at
yeah,
progress, not perfection.
got it, yeah,
Needs and wants, progress and not perfection. And every decision or choice you make, you need to have a very good reason for that.
okay.
In the,
So
yeah,
yeah, sorry to
tell me.
interrupt you.
No, no, tell me, tell me.
What if we are not able to find a particular reason at that particular time? How, what is to be thought to get that particular reason?
Either you don't know yourself very well as to why you want it, maybe you want something which somebody else has, you're not in sync with yourself as to is it a need or a want. Like,
Okay,
when people come to me for counseling, I get these things done like needs and wants. Many people put their wants in the need is something which you can't live without.
okay, like the basic
Wants
necessity.
can be delayed, no, wants can be delayed.
Correct.
I need the BMW right now, but maybe 1 year 2 years down the line I might want it, but today I can live without a BMW.
Okay. I'm sure our viewers would also like to know if how can we practice to sink in ourselves, like to know more ourselves in a better way.
This is a very good question. I think every day you need to take out, use journaling, journal about yourself, your likes or dislikes, whether you have boundaries, whether you let people trespass or, gate crash. Okay. What are your likes and dislikes? What do you like to eat? What you like to wear? Which hairstyle do you like? What's your favorite color? You can do those things. And
Okay.
your values, your interests, your hobbies.
Okay.
And what was the question again?
Like how do we get to sync ourselves, to know ourselves more better? Like I know myself now currently, but I know
Mm-hmm,
myself
mm-hmm,
80%. I don't know myself 100%, as you asked me,
mm-hmm.
right, that whether you are
Yes,
sure
yes,
about yourself. But I'm not
yes.
100%. So how can we practice ourselves to know ourselves in 100% way?
So do you check in with yourself often through the day as to how you're feeling and thinking? What you're speaking,
Not through
thought,
the
speech,
day,
behavior, action.
not through the day, I can say. I check it in like a week, you can say. what I had thought, how my week was in that way, how it had
So
been.
so when you wake up in the morning, you set a task, right? I'm going to do these things. So when you sleep in the night, that point
Yeah,
of time, probably you can just tick off those things and see. And it's again progress and not perfection. You can know yourself when you spend time with yourself, and
yeah,
when you go and look into the mirror, do you like yourself?
yeah,
Do you like what you see?
yeah.
If not, then do something about it.
Okay.
Right, it's all about knowing your number one thing is values. It's very important. There's a PDF also available on the net, act values PDF. You can download that. It's got some 57 values. Okay, everybody should read each value and the meaning and choose your top 3 values. Spend time with yourself. Be attuned to yourself. You should know whether you're hungry or thirsty or you want to need to go for a walk or you're bored.
Okay.
That way even the eating disorders will go mostly.
Correct.
Monitor the thought, because see, if your thought is correct, okay, then everything else will
Yeah.
fall into place. It's all about how you're thinking and how you're feeling, how you're speaking and what you're doing. Be your best, I would say, be your best friend. Just as you look for external validations, look towards yourself for the support. Let the bandwidth open up to support yourself. It'll take time. Initially you might not be able to support, but as time goes by you will be able to support yourself, become responsible, accountable, become your best friend, so that internal dips of motivation are normal compared to, you come back, you don't get a good mark, and you keep thinking kisko phone karu, who do I unload this thing to. You'll become more resilient and self-reliant and self-sufficient, provided you take the pains to know yourself in and out. It's a continuous thing, because as I said, normal keeps changing, right? So it's a
Yes.
continuous thing.
So is it like practicing mindfulness, being in present?
Mindfulness, exactly. But how do you define mindfulness? Tell me, I'm curious to know.
Okay. Mindfulness is like being conscious about your thoughts, about your actions, and basically that only. Like what you are, where you are, you know it. You are very much aware about your situations. You are into the moment currently, and not just into your thoughts and thinking about either the past or the future, anticipation, or like regret something, rather than being like, what can I do about it now, and work accordingly.
Very well put. The mindfulness is basically being in the present moment. The five senses are
Yes.
working absolutely fine. Smell, taste, touch, and all that, So, but in the present moment, there are many things, right? As I'm sitting in my office, there are many things all around. But I
Yeah.
am focusing on the webinar.
Correct.
I'm not looking at this particular crystal or something else, because I'm focusing here. Mindfulness is being in the present moment, but focusing on things which work. Otherwise, it'll be a huge stampede and rush, taking into account every possible thing. Then it'll become chaotic.
True.
Selective attention
Okay.
in the present
Filtering it
moment.
out.
Yes,
Okay. Got it.
absolutely. Because you can't take so much stimuli and everything will be too much for the brain to process. Overload.
True.
Selective attention, travel light. Okay, keep processing the baggage. And when you travel light, you will see that you are rid of so many psychological issues and medical health issues too. When you travel light, you're not piling up emotions and instances and all that.
Okay. Also, like talking about competitions that you were telling,
Mm-hmm.
there are some parents or teachers in the school who are more, like forcing students to be more competitive
Mm-hmm.
in academic or in the sports front.
Mm-hmm.
But students get exhausted, at a certain
Mm-hmm.
point, they get saturated. So,
Mm-hmm.
are there any tips that you would like to give to the viewers or the parents? Some suggestions?
So is it something that is their choice, or the parents or teachers choice to excel in their sport, or whose choice is that? I would
I
like to
mean,
ask.
like they are, like forcing students to do more and more.
Yeah, I've seen that in my
Yes.
child's earlier school. We saw that the principal, what she did, she made the male teachers send their wives to the village, house these children there in 12th grade to get the marks. They even cook breakfast for them, the teachers.
Yeah.
She wants the marks under any circumstances.
Huh,
There are
so
people
this
who
is
work like that.
beyond the capabilities or beyond the circumstances of certain people. So how do these people cope up?
See, there is something called a boom bust cycle, boom and bust.
Okay,
So if you are a perfectionist, you're going to outdo everything initially itself. It won't be metered.
okay,
Okay? It is like releasing that thing bit by bit, your energy. Release
okay,
your energy bit by bit. So if I wash three utensils fully, my hands will pain for the next 20.
yeah,
Release the energy bit by bit, all the faculties, mental, physical, and everything, bit by bit, and only give the attention that much as it is required. So, there are people, for 1 mark answer, they write 10 lines and put a diagram too, because they make the time and they have the knowledge, but they get only 1 mark for it,
yeah,
right? So you should know how much to engage with it. It's a doorbell thing. So when people ring the doorbell, do we open the door for everybody and call them in for coffee?
not really.
So what do we do? Look at the people and say, "Ghar mein koi nahi hai," even though we are there. For some people we open and say, "Ha, okay, okay," and send them off. Some people we call them in and get dhokla or coffee or dosa or something. So it depends on that. Release the energy as and when required. Boom bust cycle is overdoing. Boom cycle and bust followed by a lull for a long time, then boom, you do well, and again bust for a long time. If you want to avoid the boom bust cycle, you need to allocate energy, your time, and the faculties in the right manner so that you reach where you're going, albeit without any problem, psychological or physical troubles. Release it bit by bit.
Okay, that's all from me.
So, very great questions, Rakesh, and it was a very fruitful session as I see it.
Okay, so is there anything, ma'am, you would like to add on, or should I conclude it?
I would probably just tell all the viewers who are watching, parents, or you could be of any age. I think we should all look at, don't look at the tangibles of something as a physical certificate or an award, or even I have so many awards in my office here, but it is about your constant upgrading your skill sets and your knowledge and your, where you are as a person, you need to evolve. Your personality should have all these traits which gives you a holistic perception. You can't be hollow with just one particular award or a marks. So read, write, build your hobbies, teach your children to develop their personality. You do it too as parents, okay? And build a holistic family and society so that we are not here competing unhealthily and learning, relearning, and unlearning from each other. Learning to coexist peacefully. I would like to put it that way.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kavita Panyam, ma'am. It was great having you here online, and also a big thank you to all the viewers. And hoping to see you again, ma'am, over another topic. As you said, there is a list of topics that you could still like to talk upon. So, viewers, stay connected. And you're signing off, Rakesh Chagani, as a counseling executive from Career Naksha. Thank you.
Thank you, Rakesh. Thank you, Career Naksha. Thank you.